behind this door you will find one of the most horrible places of Le Mont Saint-Michel. It's called Le Trou Noir, the black hole. It's a very small stone cell, not high enough to sit, not long enough to stretch out. This is where ArmandBarbes is locked up, a political prisoner, sentenced to imprisonment for life. There he is. He's allowed to take the air for a little bit. Maybe he wants to speak to us. Look at me. I'm an individu fini. Look at my emaciated arms. My voice has become weak, and my thoughts are like a lamp that twinkles before it fades in my brains. I'm finished. It's over. And yet, I haven't lost my ideals. If only I could make a last contribution to France and to the great idea of equality before I leave this world for good. Barbes was one of the leaders of the extreme left. Together with Auguste Blanqui, he led an attempted revolution on the 12th of May, 1839. They briefly took the town hall and issued proclamations denouncing the tyrants of the Tuileries. But the people didn't respond, they didn't rise. So all the insurgents were either arrested or fled. 20 people were killed, among them the commander of the guards of the Palace of Justice. More than 100 wounded. Barbes himself was arrested. Blanqui escaped, later to be arrested. On the 27th of June, Barbes and 17 insurgents are put on trial. Barbes is accused of violence against the state and murder. On the 12th of July, he is condemned to death. Barbes refuses to appeal for mercy. Dieu n'est jamais du parti des lâches, he says. God is never on the side of the cowards. The public opinion takes his side. Student demonstrations demand Barbes to be pardoned. Workers demonstrate against capital punishment. And famous author Victor Hugo addresses King Louis-Philippe in little poem. Referring to the recent death of King Louis-Philippe's daughter and the loss of his grandson, he writes, "On behalf of an angel transformed into a dove, on behalf of a royal child, a grandson dear and frail, one more pardon. Pardon in the name of the grave, pardon in the name of the cradle." During the night that gives way to July 14th, Barbes prepares for the guillotine. July 14th. Amazing. Almost 50 years ago. The storming of the Bastille. In the long history of domination, a new era begins, in which equality will prevail in the end. The belief in the solidarity of the family, the clan, or the tribe has been replaced by a greater solidarity towards the state. And this will lead the way towards the unification of mankind in a universal love. this perspective of human progress as an individual dimension in which the belief in God and the belief in the immortality of the soul are complementary. Thinking about his upcoming execution, Barbes compares ways of dying. Death for a great cause in the prime of life, isn't that preferable to decline in sickness and old age? Especially after the soul continues its journey towards an ever greater light, after this life has come to an end. In thoughts, he parts from his loved ones. In a spirit of resignation, he writes letters to his sister, his brother, and his lawyers. And then he thinks about France, his beloved country. The great people of equality. France, liberator of the human race. France, republic to be. Last words. Yes. What should be appropriate last words approaching the guillotine? Vive la France, vive la République. No, it's too long. I want to express my love for the spirit of the French. What could that be? Withdrawn in these contemplations, all of a sudden, the door of the prison cell opens. Barbes is taken to the prison's consulting room. His lawyer, Emmanuel Arango, in the company of the head of the prison, is waiting for him. They shake his hand, congratulate him. Capital punishment has been changed into imprisonment for life. The next day, Barbes is taken to Le Mont Saint-Michel prison. For Barbes, facing a long-drawn mort sèche, the dry death, which takes place without one drop of blood being spilled, is far worse than the prospect of the guillotine. He looks through the barred windows of the prisoner's coach. It is almost daybreak. Last morning stars, before being surpassed by sunrise, shed a gentle light over Paris. A silence full of mystery reigns in the streets of the capital of the slumbering democracy. Thinking about his hopes to awake the dormant political fabric, he is struck by an overwhelming military presence. Soldiers everywhere. All these soldiers, poor sons of the people, are forced to use their weapons against the aspirations of the people. With tears in his eyes, he whispers, "Adieu, beloved Paris. Adieu. It will be a very long time before I see you again." During the Revolution of 1848, Barbes is released. But after he proclaimed a new radical republic at the Hôtel de Ville in Paris, he is imprisoned for life again. 6 years later, in 1854, Barbes is pardoned by Napoleon III. He goes into exile, and he dies in the Netherlands in 1870.